Ukraine's campaign against occupied Crimea intensified overnight, with powerful strikes reported across several key military sites. Russian air defenses opened fire over Dzhankoy, Saky airfield, and Gvardeyskoye as explosions lit up the night sky. Near the village of Crimea, a blast caused a short power outage, likely the result of a hit on a mobile gas turbine substation rated at 330 over 110 kilovolts. The scale and precision of the attacks highlight Ukraine's growing ability to disrupt Russian logistics, energy systems, and air operations deep inside the peninsula. Ukrainian forces struck the Gvardeyskoye oil depot in occupied Crimea again. 4 explosions were reported in the settlement north of Simferopol, igniting a storage tank. This follows a special forces strike earlier in the week that destroyed another tank and hit 2 fuel trains mid-transfer. Ukrainian defenders attacked the Gvardeyskoye oil depot in temporarily occupied Crimea on the night of November 10th. Drones struck the target with precision, according to the Ukrainian Special Operations Forces Command. On the night of November 10th, units of the Special Operations Forces successfully struck the oil depot of the state-owned enterprise Gvardeyskoye in Saky district, temporarily occupied Crimea, Ukraine, the Special Operations Forces said. Ukrainian drones hit the pump station on the territory of an oil depot. The military explained that the federal state-owned Gvardeyskoye oil depot plays a key role in supplying fuel to Russian forces in Crimea. It supports Russian military facilities and provides transport fuel for the Russian army. The Special Operations Forces confirmed that they will continue such operations to deprive Russian troops of the ability to sustain their offensive. Earlier, on October 17th, Ukrainian forces also targeted the federal state-owned Gvardeyskoye facility. That night, drones from the Ukrainian Special Operations Forces struck the enemy site and also hit the oil depot in the settlement of Gvardeyskoye. Previously, the Special Operations Forces reported that they continue to block Russian attempts to break through to Pokrovsk, destroying small enemy groups with FPV drones and heavy bombers. Ukrainian crews carry out precise strikes on Russian troops both day and night, systematically thwarting breakthrough attempts. These actions strengthen the city's defense and help Ukrainian forces hold positions, repelling assaults by Russian forces. Also, in the Dzhankoy district of the temporarily occupied Crimea, a large-scale power outage has been recorded following a drone attack. According to the company Crimea, more than 40 settlements were left without electricity. An official statement from the energy company indicated that the emergency power shutdown had occurred due to technical reasons. However, the specific circumstances of the incident have not been disclosed. Local residents on social media claim that the cause of the outage was an attack by a Ukrainian drone. According to them, the strike targeted an electrical substation near the railway tracks in the area of Solon Lake. Previously, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine struck Russian air defense radars Podlyat and Nebo-M in occupied Crimea. The loss of these systems disrupts the radar field over the peninsula, breaking up the established air defense system into separate clusters of anti-aircraft complexes. This in turn opens blind corridors for Ukrainian strike assets. A Russian blogger shared that many Russians do not realize how many Russian soldiers are dying in the war against Ukraine. For these 2 small cities, Pokrovsk and Bakhmut, Russia has already killed 80 to 100,000 of its own soldiers. It wasn't Ukraine that killed them, it was Russia, he says.
An interesting fact is how unaware Russians are of how many people are dying in the war. Let me give you a small example. I just came across a video by a Z blogger called Losses in the Battles for the City of Pokrovsk. For those not following, Russia is currently trying with all its might to capture the city of Pokrovsk, just like Bakhmut once, if you remember. So he said that the losses are comparable, and back then about 40 to 50,000 people died. They themselves mentioned these numbers. That is, these are 2 small towns where about 60,000 people lived before the war. You understand, right, what 60,000 people means? It's a small town, you could say. And for two small towns, Russia has already killed its military, 80 to 100,000 people. Russia killed them. I repeat, it was not Ukraine that killed them, it was Russia that killed them. So you understand the scale of the disaster. Yes, what is, 100,000 people each? Germany during World War II, when it captured Norway, France and Poland, lost fewer people than Russia did for these two small towns.
Well, for what? I just don't understand. Well, why? For what?
Power went out twice during President Zelensky's interview with The Guardian's Luke Harding. Such blackouts have become a daily reality for millions of Ukrainians. Because of relentless Russian strikes on critical infrastructure, cities are left without electricity and in many cases water and heating for hours, sometimes days.
We've seen some crazy stuff in the last couple of months. Russian... Oh, hello.
Hard times. Electricity.
Electricity is gone.
You know, not everything.
So this sky shift.
No, життя.
Well, it's life.
Should we keep going?
Да, ми можемо продовжити.
Okay.
Правда, перекладача немає. Окей.
Let's try.
From the other news, new era in Tokyo's foreign policy. If China attacks Taiwan, Japan may defend the island. The Japanese government has stated that in the event of the use of force against Taiwan, such as a naval blockade, Japan may recognize it as a threat to existence and, accordingly, exercise collective self-defense. This is reported by the IPST think tank, citing the words of Japanese Prime Minister Takeshi Sanae. During a hearing at the House Budget Committee, Japanese Prime Minister Takeshi Sanae said that if an emergency in Taiwan is accompanied by the use of force by the other side, such as a naval blockade involving warships, the Japanese government may recognize it as a state of threat to existence and, accordingly, exercise collective self-defense. This statement is seen as a significant declaration of Japanese security policy. Yamashita Akio, Director General of the Indo-Pacific Analytical Center, called it a historic break that symbolizes the formation of a new Japanese policy. The state of threat to existence is a key concept introduced during the adoption of Japan's updated security legislation in 2015. It means that even if Japan has not been directly attacked, but the United States or another ally has been the target of an armed attack that threatens the existence of Japan and the rights to life of its citizens, the self-defense forces can exercise the right to collective self-defense. When it comes to the use of warships and the use of force, the likelihood of recognizing a state of threat to existence is high. The government must anticipate the worst-case scenarios and prepare for them, the Prime Minister said. At the same time, Takaichi drew a line. Not every escalation in the Taiwan Strait will automatically lead to military action by Japan, but only open military action. If you just line up civilian ships in a single line, making navigation difficult, I don't think it would constitute an existential threat. But if we are talking about a naval blockade under martial law, flying drones and related circumstances, this can be viewed from a different angle, she explained. As noted in the publication, Takaichi's statement is not only a political signal, it has launched a discussion about the transformation of Japan's national strategy. For a long time, due to the constraints of a pacifist constitution, Japan has relied mainly on economic and diplomatic instruments. Takaichi's speech symbolizes the revival of national subjectivity. The country is gradually emerging from its passive state. This is undoubtedly a positive signal for Taiwan. If China considers the use of force, it will have to take into account not only the United States but also Japan. In late October, Japanese Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi suggested that Tokyo might resort to easing restrictions on arms exports to countries involved in armed conflicts.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week gets 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.